Hello everybody and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Now, yes, as you can see today we are going to be going back to the wonderful $5 Windows 98 PC, which I did a video on this a couple of weeks ago. And if you did not catch that video and if you want to see it, I'll have a YouTube card come up at the top right of your screen right now, and there also will be a link down below in the video description. But basically what we did in that video, sort of the TLDR version of that video, was you try to see how far we could push this machine, at least in terms of Windows version. So this was obviously on Windows 98, and we tried to see how far that we could upgrade it. And spoiler alert, we only got to Windows XP. We tried to see if we could get to Windows Vista. There were a couple of different methods that I used, and ultimately it just came down to the fact that this hardware is obviously just not designed to run Windows Vista. It's meant to be a Windows 98 computer. It is from that era. There were a lot of you guys saying down in the comments of that video where that if I were to upgrade a lot of the hardware, mainly the RAM in this computer, that it could possibly run Windows Vista. And I'm sure that could happen, but and I might do like a future video on that. But like I said, this machine isn't really, it's obviously not designed to run Windows Vista at all. This is mainly to be a Windows 98 computer. So I was going through some of my installation media to put this PC back onto Windows 98 because obviously I don't want to keep it on Windows XP. And I came across a couple of different software disks that I had not seen in a while. And as you can probably tell from the title, this is a copy of Windows 98 that was designed solely for the use of Indiana University, for use solely by students, faculty, and staff of Indiana University. And I actually won this along with a couple of different Indiana University software. There was Windows 98, there were two of these Windows 95 disks right here, and then there was also an Office for Macintosh disk, which is actually in the same case as the 98 one. So there's an Office for Macintosh one. They all kind of have this same like sort of minimalist design here. So yeah, these were basically I guess designed for use only at Indiana University, and I was kind of wondering, would this be any different than a standard retail copy of Windows 98? And the seller didn't even really, from what I remember from that auction, he didn't really say anything about these. The auction was of mostly Macintosh software and a couple of like installation guides and things like that. And when I opened the box and I saw these in there, I was pretty confused. I was like, I thought this was just Mac software, but it ended up coming with these as well. So yeah, that's kind of the purpose behind today's video. We're going to be installing the copy of Windows 98, but I'm just kind of interested in seeing if this is any different. And to any of you guys that are at Indiana University right now, or if you ever went there, this might be pretty interesting to you as well, because this was from that institution. So we're going to be booting up. I'm just going to reach over here and I'm going to boot up the Windows 98 computer. I have to apologize once again for my very loud share, as it loves to do this whenever I go to make a video. So we're going to, it's probably just going to boot into Windows XP, but I'm probably just going to reach over here and put in the Windows 98 disk right here. And there might be future videos. I might try to check out this Windows 95 one to see if it's any different, and the Office for Macintosh one, of course. And who knows, this might not even be that different. This might be exactly the same as the Windows 98 retail copy. So I'm gonna just put this disk in the, actually there's one in there right now for the wireless driver that I had. We're just gonna put that back in there. Oh, and by the way, I did also, if you did not, if you saw my last video, I did put the old CD drive back in there. So yeah, Windows 98, I mean, so far it looks pretty, pretty standard. And let me just zoom in on the monitor right here so you can kind of see it a little bit better. So yeah, Windows 98, pretty standard. Let's see if I go into my computer and stuff. It just says Windows 98, it doesn't say anything about Indiana University or anything like that. So I don't know, maybe this is going to be like a totally standard copy, but we're gonna have to, obviously, because we can't do this through Windows XP, we have to reboot. I'm not sure if I need a boot disk for this. I think Windows 98 you can just boot off of the CD and it should work fine. So yeah, let's just see what happens here. Oh, and I forgot to write down the key that's on that disk, so I'm gonna have to probably use that. So we want to do, it should just ask us to boot, because I have the CD-ROM in the first priority. There's no boot menu on this computer. You just have to boot into the BIOS and change, at least as far as I can tell. Why didn't it? Okay, it didn't even recognize I pressed F1. It didn't do anything. Alright, let's try this again. Press F1 like immediately. You can see that the CD drive light is blinking and everything. Okay, there we go. Preparing to run setup. Okay, so once we get in here, we should see. We want to go to boot. I'm pretty sure I have, yeah, CD-ROM. Okay, so I assume this one is not. It's not bootable because it would be booting from that if it was. So I'm gonna go grab a Windows 98 boot disk really quick, and we'll see if we can get this thing booted. So I've got so many floppy disks, as you can see right here. I'm gonna try to open this, and this is just one of the cases I have. I have a whole nother one filled with, I think these are just Windows. I don't even know if I have a Windows. I've got a million Windows 95 boot disks and setup disks. I don't even know if I have one for 98. But we can just use one of the 95 or the DOS ones. It'll work fine. There's 3.1. Here's 2 whole sets of Windows 95 on floppies. Obviously, we can't use that, so we'll just boot to a Windows 95. I don't know which one of these works. I've got like a million of them labeled. Well, let's try this. We got, oh yeah, these were the two that I don't, there's boot disk and startup disk, like, which one's which. So we'll try one of these and see what happens. We'll try the boot disk first. Invalid system disk. There you go. So this one's the invalid one. Yep, there we go. Starting Windows 95. Yeah, I think we need the Windows 98 one because you need to, we need to have the one that allows you to boot with CD-ROM support. Alright, so I think I found something that could be useful. We've got a Windows 95 CD setup boot disk. Windows is kind of spelled wrong, but whatever. It's a CD setup boot disk. I think that will contain the CD driver. I don't know. Okay, here we go. So this is a, I don't know. I think it's a quad speed. It's a, I literally don't have an idea what brand it is. Mitsumi? I mean, does it matter? Like, ah, there we go. Okay, it found one. Cool. You're about to install Windows 95. I think it's gonna boot from the, I don't know, I've not seen this before. Trigem America Corporation in Fremont, California. Windows 95's installation. I guess this is like an automated setup or something. Okay, well we've got, so we've got access to the D drive. So the first thing I want to do is go to the A drive and format the C drive. We might have to do F disk first. Okay, so we're back in F disk right now. I need to first delete the NTFS partition. So we're going to continue that. Non-DOS partition deleted. So now if we go to display, there's nothing on the fixed drive 1. So now we want to create a primary DOS partition. Now, if we run fdisk again, it should show this. I mean, I think we do have to restart for a text, but if we display, there we go. So primary DOS. I wonder if we can just format it from here without restarting. Yeah, whatever. We'll just restart anyway, just to make things safe. So we're booting back up here into the Windows 95 starter menu, and yeah, I think this is kind of interesting because I don't think this is actually made by like Microsoft. I mean, this is obviously like some third-party thing. I mean, that the disk that's in here isn't an official Microsoft disk, and from the looks of it, it seems like it was something that was user-made because Windows is spelled wrong. But there's that. When it comes up here, yeah, there's Trigem America Corporation at the top there in Fremont, California. Yeah, so I mean, I assume they must have something to do with this, but it actually makes it pretty simple. I mean, it just kind of tells you that you're about to install Windows 95, and if you actually had the Windows 95 CD-ROM in there, you know, you would press 1 here, and it would just, you'd like start going into that for you. But the problem is we don't have that. So now, you know, we still got the D drive with all its files. We're going to go to the A drive, which is the floppy drive, and we're going to run format C:. It should find it this time. And invalid. What do you mean invalid drive specification? Display partition. It's gone. Alright, so after about an hour of trying to get pretty much every floppy disk that I have, I mean, I've tried like, I don't know, at least 10 floppy diskettes on this computer, trying to get it to boot and allow me to run setup from the CD-ROM. All of them were just having problems. I'm thinking it might have something to do with the fact there's an NTFS partition on the drive, even though that it showed it and it allowed me to like delete the NTFS partition. I don't know. So I'm deciding to go a whole different route of just reinstalling a fresh copy of MS-DOS 6.22. So we're going to boot up here in MS-DOS. I'm probably going to edit a lot of that footage out because it was getting very frustrating. It was taking way too long to do like pretty much anything. So we're going to set up MS-DOS now. We're going to configure the hard drive. All files we want to, yes, configure a hard drive. Setup will restart your computer now, so it should just go into formatting drive C. There we go, formatting drive C. That is beautiful. Okay, so it's asking us to remove all disks from all floppy drives, which obviously we only have one, so just, you know, take that out. We're gonna press enter. It's now installed. Great. So MS-DOS is gonna be the only operating system on here right now. Well, good thing. So we've got DOS installed. So, you know, if we run fdisk and all that, it's only going to show the yep, primary DOS partition. That is what we want. So now we're going to boot back up from the Windows 98 second edition, if I can focus in on that. Yeah, the Windows 98 second edition floppy, which has CD-ROM support. So we're not going to format the drive because we've already got MS-DOS on it, so we're just going to reinstall Windows, you know, we're just going to go with option 2 and pressing the key to continue. And let's see if it can actually run ScanDisk or whatever now. There we go, it's running Microsoft ScanDisk, beautiful. So drive C and drive D had no errors. We're going to exit, and let's see if it does anything. So it's going to copy those files over, and Windows 98 setup. So yeah, so far it looks pretty standard. Okay, so it's already got the product key put in there. That's pretty cool. So it's already, it has this automatically put in there. So obviously I'm going to have this blurred out, but that's pretty nice. So if there's anything different, that's it. We're going to install the C Windows. It's going to prepare the directory, and yeah, not really exciting so far. I was honestly hoping for something, you know, like more, like, I don't know, graphically different. Like maybe this whole like installer would, like, I don't know, look a little bit different. But you know, of course, maybe the Windows 95 one does. I don't know. You know, we'll have to see. So we're gonna go into custom here because I do want to change this. So we'll just do Michael, and so yeah, we're gonna go in here. I want to do the desktop themes. I want to do accessories. I want to get the games, desktop wallpaper. I want to get the mouse pointers. I want to get yeah, that should be fine. I mean, we could really install all this because this is an 80 gig hard drive, but we don't need everything. So there we go. Got all that. computer name. We want to call this 98 box. That's what I called the other one. Computer description 98 box. It'll be in the work group. Keyboard layout and all that set. We're in the United States. We don't want to create a startup disk. So I'm just going to remove this from the drive so it doesn't try to do that, because I don't want it to create a startup disk. So cancel and start copying files. So yeah, I mean, pretty standard so far. As I said, nothing is really that different. We'll see when it finishes the setup if it looks any different. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, not very exciting so far. It's just, you know, like a standard Windows 98 installation, which I know you guys have probably seen this a million times. I've done like a bunch of different videos. I've done a whole tutorial on installing Windows 98. I think I actually did a video of installing it on this computer when it didn't have any operating system on it. So it's why I was kind of hoping this would be you know, a little bit different. But yeah, I'm just gonna pause the video here. It's gonna, you know, take about 30 minutes to install. So I'm gonna come back once this is all finished up. Alright, so setup is just finished up. It is restarting the computer, as you can see, and it's got to, of course, do all the post setup stuff that it always has to do after it installs Windows 98. So yes, there we go, getting ready to run Windows for the first time. Alright, so we are back. Windows 98 has finished installing. We're going to just log in here, and it's going to find all of our hardware and everything. But yeah, I didn't record the rest of the setup because it was pretty standard and straightforward. There wasn't much that was going on that was any different than like a standard Windows 98 setup. So it's just, you know, finding all of our drivers here for all the new hardware that it's found and everything. So I'm just wondering if there's any like special programs or like any pre-bundled things that you know, would come on here, because obviously it was a little bit modified. I mean, because the Windows product key was automatically put in there. I didn't have to do anything, which was pretty nice. So, you know, we've got this. I'm just gonna close out the channel bar and close out it. No, I don't want to do that. I want to get out of this. Obviously, it's in like a super low color mode, and you know, it just kind of went back to the same. I'm gonna register later, but it kind of went back to the same thing where like the screen isn't sized properly. That's just because the display driver is not the correct one. It's kind of the just default VGA driver. But yeah, I mean, we'll run WinVer here. You know, Windows 98. We'll go into properties. I mean, yeah, it really doesn't indicate anywhere that this is just for the Indiana University students and staff. It doesn't really say that anywhere on here. If I open up my computer, it really doesn't say anything. I mean, even if we like browse this CD, let's just do that. I mean, I really don't think there's any. I mean, obviously, you know, it still says Windows 98. It honestly just looks like a standard Windows 98 CD to me. Nothing's really that different. So, I mean, that's just gonna about wrap it up for this video. I thought it was gonna be a lot more interesting than it actually was. So I hope that you guys enjoyed. Again, we might be taking a look at this Windows 95 one or the Office one, but at this point, you know, if they're all like, or if this one is like any, you know, indication how these other ones are, it's not, you know, really that different. It's just pretty much going to be the same as a standard Windows 95 or Office for Macintosh installations. So I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, definitely be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. And as always, guys, I will see you in the next video.